What is going on, everybody? Welcome, one and all, to your favorite weekly show for all your Tokusatsu news. What's up, everybody? I'm Squall Charleston. Welcome to another episode of Shuukan TokuNet Live. This week, I'm joined by not one, but two really awesome guests. Hey, guys, say hello.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, guys.
Okay, cool. It worked. I was like holding my breath that it was gonna work. We got Dustin here. You may know him from The Next Decade Props and Costumes.
What's up?
And we also have Katie. Hey, Katie.
Hello.
She's a Team TokuNet writer. You're pretty new, right? Like you joined within the last couple months.
Yeah, I started at the beginning of the year writing cosplay features, and I also
That's
do
right.
the Toku merchandise roundup every month.
Awesome. Yeah, those get some pretty good hits. So
Appreciate it.
how's everybody doing today? Chat, we got you up. We got you going. If this is your first time with us, we at the top of your screen, you will see a goo.gl/slides link. You can find that down in the description as well. If you go to that, you can actually type in a question or a comment or whatever, and I'll be able to see it and throw it into the show. If you don't have anything to say or you want to add, you can look at everybody else that's been posting in there and upvote or downvote theirs, and I'll be able to see it a little bit easier. All right. So you guys ready to do this?
Let's go.
Sure.
Awesome. So the most pressing and depressing article that we have this week is that...
I think it was a little bit more grasping, honestly.
Got him. Is that of Gaim's Tsurinori Aoki, who was arrested for indecent assault and unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, released from the agency. So if you guys remember this guy, he was from Gaim. He played, what was it, the doctor or the professor?
He was Sengoku Ryoma. He was Kamen Rider Duke.
Yeah, he was the one that invented the Sengoku driver.
Yep, exactly.
Basically what happened, an intoxicated Aoki approached an unknown woman in her 30s from behind and grabbed her chest. The woman stated that her neck was lightly injured. She contacted the local police, but Aoki had fled the scene, but he was later identified by the items that he had dropped nearby. On April 5th, he was arrested for indecent assault and released from the police station on April 6th. So, what is it? Dulce Star, the agency that manages him, announced on the 6th that his contract with the agency had been terminated, and that it had been terminated on March 31st, and he had left the company through mutual agreement. So it looks like he had left before this whole incident even started. When life gives you lemons. That was a good one.
Terrible.
There's some other stuff that was coming up too, like he was also set to star in the movie Stray Dogs 8, releasing in theaters on May 19th. That'll probably still go through, but at this time, like, if you guys don't know much about like Japanese culture outside of these shows, that this is pretty much a career-ending move. Like, have you guys ever heard of the band 1OK Rock?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Actually, I'm unaware of that one.
Well, they're a very big rock band, and they're a 4-member group, and they're really good. But a lot of people don't know is that they used to be a 5-member group. But one of the other like backup singers, like guitarist, apparently like he was like on a train and just like looked at a girl wrong, and like it freaked her out, and like all these people got up in his face, and like he like was like trying to like hit on her and touch her and whatever, and like he just immediately got kicked out of the band and is like nowhere to be found anymore.
Yeesh.
So yeah, like don't do this, especially in Japan.
Well, what I would like to know is what were the items that he dropped
Yeah.
that were so easily identifiable to him?
Signed headshots.
So we found a big red belt and a lock with a lemon on it. Oh, dude, I know who it is. I got this.
He was framed. No, yeah,
Pikachu was last trolling. That'd be great.
that's what went through my mind too. It's like, what could he have dropped? Probably like a phone or some like business cards or something that had like, I don't know, his address on it.
Ooh, that'd be so damning, because I know a lot of Japanese businessmen and just people that have like serious careers out there, they carry business card cases usually. Those are easy to slip out.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, do you guys have anything else you want to say about this? Like, it's...
I mean, he acted so funny on the show,
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like, it almost seems like it's fitting, and that's a horrible thing to say because I'm sure he did a great job on set, but it was just, I don't know, it's one of those articles that you read and you're just like, yeah, I could see that, I guess.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that too. I was like, wait, which one is this from Gaim? And I looked it up. I was like, oh yeah, wait, he's only just now doing something.
Right. And then what I was going to say about it is like, it's really sad to hear about something like this because, I mean, you see these people all the time. You hear about their careers and you hear really cool things about them. And you think, oh, this person's great. They must have such a really great personality, all this other stuff. And then like you hear something like this and you're like, ooh, yeah, no, most definitely not. But I will say that people do a lot of terrible, terrible things in the world. But I don't think that there's a way to come back from being so terrible. It comes with really trying to turn yourself around. So I hope that he turns a really hardcore new leaf and tries to come back from this and do the right thing from now on. But it's going to be really, really tough to do from that.
Yeah, like I mean, like I think about the people that I've met through like Tokusatsu and like even like Power Ranger like localized stuff, and like I try to like equate what he did to like if I pictured like one of them doing it, and like I just couldn't picture it. So I want to like know possibly like what he's like outside of the incident. Cause
Right.
like,
It does sound like he's on some hard times at the moment.
Yeah.
He was released, and then they say he was drunk at the time, and that's never really an excuse for this stuff. But it can definitely be a contributing factor to it. So.
Well, and then what day was it was on April. Oh, it was on March 4th. So yeah, March 4th, and then after the event on April 5th, which is like a whole month later, he was arrested. So I feel like possibly they knew because they let him go on the 31st.
Oh, okay, I see.
So there's
That's right. That is going to be too, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I didn't read that correctly. Like he, there's an interesting timeline here with everything, with happening on March 4th, released on March 31st, and then getting arrested on 5th of April, and then they announced on the 6th that his contract had been terminated. So interesting. Anyway, let's move on. I'm sad with this.
Somber note. Yeah. Let's move on forward.
Yeah. So we got Ultraman Cosmos to air on Toku Channel in April. So starting April 23rd this year, let's see, the Toku Channel will air Ultraman Cosmos. If you don't know, Cosmos was the 16th entry in the Ultra franchise and originally aired on Tokyo Broadcasting Systems, TBS, July 7th, 2001, ending on September 28th, 2002. Now, you heard that right. That is a long-running show.
That's like a year and a quarter there.
Yeah, it's the longest Ultraman TV series, like consecutive like series, at 65 episodes.
Wow.
And this is kind of another weird little somber note, but it was actually taken off the air toward the end of its run because the star was alleged to have assaulted his then girlfriend, which they later disproved that was not true. But those sort of allegations is one of the reasons why this series came to a stop.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
But I mean, it also shows that like when something like this gets brought up in Japan, it's very obvious they take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, hey, at least some people in the world trying to do that.
Definitely.
I'm not trying to throw shade at places.
Oh, you mean right this place?
Huh? Sure.
It's I don't know, like it's good that they actually uphold those sort of values, and even if it's just one person like saying like, hey, this is something that happened to me, instead of Harvey Weinsteining it where everybody kind of like tries to pull the curtains and the shade over everything,
right,
until like too many people come forward. Like if he had 20 girlfriends that he assaulted instead of just the one, and then they take a show away from him, that's a little different.
Then, it's hard to take care of those kind of cases.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that they went through with proving that he didn't do it. And I don't want to keep dwelling on this and take away from Ultraman because it's awesome that it's airing on that channel.
Mm-hmm.
But just an addendum that the system with Japan, their trial system and everything, they're always trying to like make sure that the person's guilty. They want that guilty verdict. Like people that have played Ace Attorney, like that's no joke. People, like that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they they went through the trouble of actually researching, and when they found out that they were wrong, actually admitted to it.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times where that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm. And they actually report on it too. Like there's a lot of cases that happen over here where you have to do your own legitimate digging to find out the answer to what happened to this person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, they were let go because the people were found to be lying about this rape allegation or whatever. So at least over there, they're like, yep, we're sorry. This is totally on us. Egg on our face.
I wish they could have continued after once his name was cleared up. It would have been cool to see if they were able to keep running with it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, let's move on to everybody's favorite weekly segment. Who's that Shukuman?
Ooh, okay, wait.
Do you know who it is, Dustin? Can you?
Oh, geez, I don't know. It hasn't popped up in the chat yet. Give me just a second. I'm excited. Wait, I know. Oh, wait, it's Pikachu.
Ooh, that's a pretty good guess. Let's take a couple questions here. Don't understand this one. Here, let's see if you guys know it. This is from MRZ Ranger. If you could make your own Gokai change, what would be the theme of it? I don't quite understand what maybe you're asking. Let's just say if you could make your own Sentai theme, what would it be?
Oh shoot. Well,
he's thinking.
Yeah, let me think for a second, because actually it happened this year. So
as I love food and I like to inject food into everything, so I would immediately go towards a food Sentai.
Yes.
Maybe they could base it off different kinds of sushi or something like I know they're really into like pastries and everything. So
they could have a crossover with like Shinken Gold, Kamen Rider Wizard, and the cast of Dime, excluding Lemon.
But I think that would be an interesting thing to kind of see put into motion and fleshed out.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea.
I honestly, I'd like to see them tackle like a video game again. I was gonna say, I wanted it to be Cops and Robbers, and then it happened this year, so I'm just like, yay! So, I think a video game Sentai would be cool. I really like the idea of Genji Sentai Mega Renju. It'd be cool to see if maybe it was like an arcade team, because arcade machines are still popular out there.
Sort of like a Wreck-It Ralph Sentai?
Yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe make it where the monster of the week is actually like a machine that sucked in somebody, so they all have to drop in a quarter and jump in the game and help them out. It's not like they don't have a bunch of X8 props laying around that can reuse.
Yeah, just retain them.
Yeah,
Lupin versus Pat. Anyway, here, let's do another one. What's a Toku crossover you'd like to see ignoring rights issues, i.e. Kamen Rider and Ultraman had a crossover back in the day? This one's from Malinas. What's up, buddy?
Katie, what do you think?
Well, going with the current theme, or the current season of Rider, I would love to see them cross over with Kiva, so that Otoya can fight with Kazumi. Or alternatively, flipping it to, I would love to see them do a crossover with Amazons and Build, because then you can have Banjo fight himself.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh my god, I just everything just changed in my head, because I remember the ending of Kiva. Just imagine what's his name kicking down the door. Neo Fangires, they're all becoming Amazons. Help me, Papa. It's like no.
Actually, I have a pretty good answer to this. Dustin, you and I talked about this in my recent episode of the Sentai Signal podcast. We talked about Lupin and Pato Ranger. If it fell on an anniversary series, they would obviously be doing this, but since it's not, I feel like when they do their Versus movie, they're going to have a split on the team where the next team is, or maybe even Q Ranger, because that'll be even a bigger split. They'll have a split where half of them are joining with the Lupin Rangers and half of them are joining with the Pato Rangers, and then those groups are fighting each other. So it's not exactly team versus team versus team. It's sort of like Mock Team 1 and Mock Team 2. But then really you took it even further and you said if it fell on an anniversary series, it would be neat to have Lupin Ranger versus Pato Ranger versus Super Sentai.
Right. I think it would just be so slick because I think I mentioned in that podcast specifically, I was like, well, Red would come up. He's like, oh, well, I mean, look at this Lupin kid. He's trying. He's got a cape and collar. I'm down. And then
Yeah.
Bon comes running and he's like, well, what about this guy? He looks neat. He loves a cup of coffee. I like him.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Like they're basically yelling the exact same things at one another.
Pretty much. Yeah, and it would just be so interesting just to see all these colorful suits just fighting each other, and then having the Sentai villains just sitting on the side like, we didn't even do anything this time, did we? Huh? Cool, get the popcorn.
Or they could like hand pick like specific ones that they want for like strategic, kind of like a draft.
Oh, it's like, hey, they get the Time Rangers, and they're like, hey, we'll let you out of jail if you can help us take care of these thieves, like that kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Ooh.
Anyway, do you have one for this, or should we move on?
If it was gonna be anything, I'm just gonna go with the old school pick. If I want to see Kuga and I can have a moment, like really badly. Like it's just, I know it's never gonna happen. But I'm just gonna keep talking about it. It'll happen in my dreams.
You gotta keep pushing for it. All right.
No, wait, no, I lied. I know exactly what I want. I don't want anything crossover. Just bring me back to the Akiba Rangers. Bring it. Give me.
Lupin Ranger versus Pata Ranger versus Akiba Ranger.
Oh God, stop.
So I saw a bunch of people in chat guess this correctly. Yes, you are right. It is our favorite decade.
Oh.
So yeah, it's not Pikachu. I'm sorry. He's
okay. I like him. He's cool.
Just a passing Pikachu.
Don't forget him.
Tojima Tanzoburu wants to be a Kamen Rider manga announced. So on March 31st, it was announced that manga magazine Monthly Heroes will be publishing a new manga series titled Tojima Tanzoburu Wants to be a Kamen Rider. This manga will be written by Yokusaru Shibata, best known for writing and illustrating works such as Airmaster, Kaiten 1, and Tani Kamen. So, not too much is known about this other than the manga is centered on the theme of Kamen Rider love, with the synopsis that follows 40-year-old man who has aspired to be a Kamen Rider since he was a child soon discovers some news that Shocker has appeared. His destiny will change forever. So basically, it's Kamen Rider's Akiba Ranger, is what I'm.
Thank God. But can we get a series though? Can we get a live action though? Would
Yeah,
this be so good that it gets a live action though? Please.
I want a movie, if anything. Like, we need more standalone Kamen Rider movies that aren't like tie-ins or like really bad.
Oh, I just noticed something about the cover. I thought it was just a rider mask. I didn't notice that it was actually one of those festival masks, and he's bawling behind it. Oh my God, I need this.
Yeah, he's got the little tears, his little scruff down there.
Oh, I can see what he actually looks like under it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, dude, you'd be such a badass older rider. Oh,
I think we do need more older riders.
I agree too. I like these young kids, but
These
sometimes
whippersnappers.
it's good to have an older dude. Like give us another Hibiki type. I'd be happy with that.
I mean, Tamara Shinosuke was pretty up there.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him a lot. God.
He was in his late 20s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a big jump from Orewate Kujitaku. I am 8 years old.
Oh man, I like go through like weird spurts with what I'm interested in. Like sometimes I'm really heavy on Tokusatsu, so I'll just like sit there and watch like a day or two's worth of like Sentai or Kamen Rider. Then I sometimes get like into anime, and I'll watch a bunch of anime. Like I just got out of that because I was like catching up with Dragon Ball Super, but now I'm back into manga. Like it's kind of these three sort of cycle in my life. And I just spent like $50 on manga last night to like get all of the Boku no Hero, My Hero Academia
That's a good one.
digital versions, because I have all of like the regular versions, but I moved and they're back home, and I'm like, I want to read them and I want them, so I'm excited for this, and I know it's gonna hopefully get a translation, just kind of like the Kamen Rider Double did last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was really awesome.
That was way more adult than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the best way that we could put it.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. Okay, moving on. We're moving on to the great 2018 April Fool's Roundup. Were you fooled?
Oh my God. Yeah, a little bit. Got a little bit too excited about one of these in particular, and then I thought about it. I was like, oh,
Are you talking about the villains?
no, the one above it. We'll get there.
Oh, okay. So basically what we usually do at TokuNet is we come up with our own April Fool's headlines. But thankfully, this year, all of these productions did it for us. So the first one was Kamen Rider Amazons. On their official Kamen Rider Amazons Twitter account, Toei posted an image, this one, heavily contrasting with the darker tones of the series, presenting this comment on the upcoming movie. Protect peace for the sake of good kids. Chastise and judge evil. Haruka and Jin's best friend combination will face off against the strongest enemy. Musical note. Forget all the past conflict and fight hand in hand. Reborn as a heartwarming work. Heart emoji. What?
Doki Doki.
Yeah, the movie is released on May 19th. Star emoji.
Kira.
Kira.
There you go.
Thank you. Oh my gosh. I actually, this came out, I think, I want to say like 10 minutes before we did our last Shuukan TokuNet. And I didn't realize that it was a joke because it was already April Fool's over there. And I was like, oh, sweet. So I put it onto the thumbnail from last week's. And then like after I published everything, I was like, huh. I should probably change that and put it on this week's. But yeah, I love this image. This is so good.
There's
so pure, so heartwarming.
There's a video of them with a schoolgirl running arm in arm, skipping down the hallway, and they're kind of like doing a little bit of the Amazon growls with each skip. It's oh my god, it's so cool.
I wish I could show that on the show.
It's out there, folks. Go look for it.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's got a link, drop that in the comment.
Yeah. Put it in chat or put it on the. We'll figure out a way. Next one was Kamen Rider X Aid. So X Aid also received a fake announcement for a new spin-off centered on Gem's corpse, various presidents. It read, "New X Aid release, Kamen Rider Gems, the presidents. The 4 big presidents of the company get all together. We've got Masamune Dan, Kuruto Dan, Ren Amagasaki.
Good job.
You got it.
Okay, cool. And Sukuru Koboshi, rise to change the world. At that time, the shareholders to be released and become out of print in 2020.
So bad.
Oh, if only.
I want to see Virgo Boy with this guy one more time. And just.
I love that they made the little logo for it too. Like,
it's good.
I mean, it's the most basic they could have done. It's just like a little gradient, but like it's still like I looked at it and I glanced and I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever.
Add it to the list of V cinemas, you know.
Yeah, the ever expanding V cinemas. It's the new Deno.
Oh god.
If only, I'd be really happy.
But I noticed they did this. Like if you look at the X-Aid logo, it's got 4 different colors.
Oh, I didn't even notice they had a different kind of more gray stripe. And the far left one.
The green is furnace, the pink is red, this is the orange is for carnivore.
Yeah. It'd only be better if we had sesame seeds on top of that too.
That's a whole 15% effort right there.
Someone got paid for that. Anyway, moving on. Moving on to the one that got me until I watched the video. Lastly, Toei announced a new TV series titled Super Sentai Villains, which would have starred 4 returning villains from previous Super Sentai shows. In reality, these 4 will be appearing in the upcoming Q-Ranger vs. Space Squad movie. I was a sucker. I immediately fell for this before I clicked on the video, just because I saw Escape and I love her, and I was just like, I want anything that will bring her back. And then, of course, you watch the trailer, and it's like, will be released in 2069 or something. And I'm like, what?
We'll be around, hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, they used the resource as well, because they already had all 4 of these together and a picture ready. So it looks legit, because I looked at it, and I was like, that's not Photoshop, I don't think. So it's like, it's convincing. They got it. I mean, they got me good.
Yeah, they definitely, like, figured, like, they had the time in advance, and they're like, wait a minute. Let's just either use this footage or like just get them to film something completely random just for this joke. And I love when they do those little extra little pushes.
So this guy, this UFO guy, if I remember correctly, though, he's from Space Sheriff, right? Mm-hmm. Or Juice Beyond, I think, something like that. One of the Metal Heroes. I know that. It's got a weird shape.
But I'm excited regardless, just because Escape's gonna be in it. I couldn't care. But
I want Enter back. Give me some Enter back, please.
No, Escape is better. She
Savant
fixed
Cobos.
she fixed the show.
She fixed the show, but let's be real. He's cool. He's still really cool. He was probably the best part of the first half of that show.
And kind of like the last 5-ish episodes.
Yeah, Andrew's good. I think he's just as great as Escape.
Yeah.
They're just on the opposite sides of the keyboard. I get it.
Is he the one that never leaves the set?
Huh?
Is he the one that never leaves the set?
Oh no, that's the guy that played Beatbuster and Matchy Yellow, and then the gold guy from the Ranger. Yeah, she has a thing against him. I think.
I do too. I don't like him.
Oh, I like him. I think he's annoying, but I like.
Maji Yellow, yeah, he like doesn't go home. They're just like, okay, we need to cast a new Ranger. Hey,
comes barreling. No, not even barreling in from outside. He comes dropping in from the ceiling. There's foam just everywhere. He's like, I'm ready. He's got like a whole new jacket already made, and he's got his hair done. And just
his own
everywhere.
jacket. He's got like a little mustache on that's like penciled in. He's like, I hear we're filming a new Sentai. No, I actually had a jacket that looked just like his that I wore a lot because it looked really cool. And then that show came out and I couldn't wear that jacket anymore. I just like, I felt embarrassed to like have it.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
It's okay.
No hate. Let's move on to the last and possibly the hardest one I've ever done. Who's that Shukuman?
God, this is easy.
Let's see. It's easy.
Oh yeah, it's so easy.
Here we go. From Christian Jimenez. You had previously mentioned trying to get into a casting call for Power Rangers. Would you ever consider getting into a casting call for Kamen Rider in either the US or in the Japan? Which would you prefer and why? I think we did talk a little bit about this. Sorry, this is kind of like more of a question for me.
I mean, that's fine.
You did.
Dustin, weren't you going to be a Power Ranger?
I was good. Oh, no, but I did a really good joke last year where I made people think I was going to be an X8 as a ride player, but especially one with a name TURD. And
Awesome.
People bought it, and I got posts on it months later still. People like, hey, congratulations.
I can't wait to see you.
Yeah,
The series ended 4 months ago.
The thing I noticed and I learned from last casting was they basically try to get people that aren't very well known for obvious reasons, and if you don't know what those obvious reasons are, it's because they can underpay them. And if you look at like the one thing that Iris posted, Iris Hampton, the casting director, she even like has this flyer that specifically states acting experience not required or not a necessity, which really means that they're trying to recapsulate that early Mighty Morphin spirit, but they think doing that means casting people that are just martial artists. So,
Right.
Pretty.
Yeah.
So I actually got really close. Well, not really close. I got pretty close for Ninja Steel. And when they casted Chance, and then that immediately like backfired on them like the next day, or actually the day of the announcement, I was on a short list to come back and like do an audition. But since I lived in Minnesota, they passed me up. And I like in my head, I was like, I'm not good enough. I need to like do more stuff to be well known, you know, or to like be better known. And last year I did like 4 movies, like 4 feature-length films, and I applied and they told me that I don't know if I should be saying this, but they basically said that I may be too qualified.
I remember you telling me a story.
And it's honestly kind of funny in hindsight because people, you know, one of the main complaints about Power Rangers is the acting is so wooden.
Mhm.
So for us to just basically have complete confirmation that they're really not looking for acting skills, it's honestly kind of funny, and it explains a lot because they get some really great people.
Well,
But then there's some others that are like,
well, I mean, it kind of makes sense, and I don't want to say like any disrespect to the current cast that we have right now on Ninja Steel.
right, absolutely.
But we have one specific actor on that show, not naming any names, who was getting paid at a union rate. So he was part of SAG, which means that he gets paid 2 or 3 times more than the other people on cast because he is, quote, an actor. And if you look at everybody's performances, they're all pretty much the same. Like, not the same, like they're playing the same characters, but they're all like, nobody stands out quite in that show. They all kind of just like bleed together.
A few of them stand out, and I think I know who you're talking about, but I'm not gonna throw any shade anyways because that person's actually being cool as hell to me, and I appreciate them. So
yeah, I don't want to name him, but like he's one of the nicest persons that I've ever interacted with. But I feel like because he was on the show, it has now put this in their mindset that they're like, we paid this much and we still got this out of it. Which I don't think it was his fault. I think it's mostly the producer's fault. I think it's the director's fault and maybe even the writer's fault. Because the writers basically like pump out all of these episodes and they don't ever go back and format it based upon how these characters are developing. So one episode, you can have all this development and then the next episode completely forgets about that for like 5 episodes until that other writer comes back in.
It's easy because if you just keep on doing everything, you keep teaching the whole, hey, friendship, teamwork, teamwork, instead of being like, hey, people die, hey, bad things happen to them. Hey, you can stand to be brave and do something for yourself. You know, like Sentai does.
Yeah. So to answer this question, I would definitely like to do a Kamen Rider in Japan. Or, I mean, in like if it was coming here, it would be in the US just because I don't think there's any particular way that I'm going to get on a season of Power Rangers at the current standing. Because I'm already 25 years old. And the next time they do casting is potentially going to be 2 years from now. So I'll be 27. And I don't think my young looks are gonna hopefully keep up. But I've mentioned this before. It'd be really funny to actually audition for a Japanese series. Like I'd be in a Super Sentai, especially because they have Hilltop right now. And Hilltop would maybe like create this audience demand for like another different unstereotypical Japanese character, and then they're like, let's get like a white actor as like an American character, and then I could be in a Sentai show that way. And then when it gets adapted eventually, you know, like 20 years later, they're gonna be like, okay, we can't hire anybody else other than this Fuchsia Ranger who lives here. And yeah, so that's how I'm gonna get into it. So I'm gonna go the backwards route. I'm gonna get into Sentai, gonna get cast in that. And then when it gets adapted, I'll be recast as like the 40-year-old Ranger because it took them so long. Anyway.
About being in a writer or a Sentai show, personally, I'd rather be directing the writer show over here. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm going to be very blunt when I say this, is that show was not treated very well either time it was brought over here. First time, not so much by the people that were actually making it. The second time, it was by the people at the network. Mm-hmm. This show has an audience here, and the reason why I know the show has an audience here was I went to a convention last weekend in North Carolina, which is like one of the last places you expect to find any kind of Japanese culture or anything. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 kids in there, one dressed up like the light blue ranger from Key Ranger, and another kid dressed up like Hojo Emu, and they're like, "Oh my god, get him!" And I'm like, "Holy crap, you're the demographic." Mm-hmm. So. It was really cool, and just to see that just like further cemented in my mind, like that stuff has a place here. It's just there's other people in the way, and we need to tell them to get out of the way eventually.
Yeah, definitely. I remember, like, I know exactly what you're talking about because Japan World Heroes. I was doing my Q Ranger dance, and I was doing it outside with a couple people, and these like 2 kids ran up to me. And they're just like, Q Ranger, and like they're 2 like cute little Japanese kids, and I was like, what? And like I look at the one kid and he's dressed like Captain Marvelous, and then the other girl's got like a Kamen Rider shirt on. And then I bumped into him like an hour later, and I was like, I asked their mom, who was like super nice, and she spoke really fluent English, and I was like, would they want to be in a video? Like, do they know the dance? And she goes, yes, they know the dance very well. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, could do they want to be in a video? Like, I'm just getting everybody doing the Q Ranger dance, and I'll put it all together on YouTube. Is that okay? And she was like, yeah, that'd be fine. And she like talked to them, and like they came over and they did the dance, and they were a little like at first, but then like when they hit the second chorus, they fucking nailed it. Like they were just like, they hit everything. They were doing it better than I was. I was also doing it on my knees so that like the height difference wasn't weird. And I was like, oh man, those are some cool kids, you know? And I remember like an hour later looking over at the kid in the Marvelous suit, and he's like being picked up by Hirofumi Fukuzawa, who's like one of the legendary suit actors, and I was like, this kid is the coolest. He's like basically like cheesing it up with one of my idols, like one of my favorite people in the world that got me into Sentai. You know, he knows the Q Ranger dance. Like, these kids are awesome and set. And then later at dinner, Paula, the old chief for TokuNet, like basically looked over at me and she goes, I heard from somebody that you had Fukuzawa's children in your dance video.
So cool.
Yeah.
These kids are cool.
Going to Japan World Heroes was such a treat.
It really was.
I really enjoyed our time.
Is anybody in the chat going to Power Morphicon? I think you guys will be there, right? Maybe?
It's up in the air.
Okay.
It's up in the air for sure. Anaheim is a little bit harder to get to for us than Pasadena, price-wise.
Yeah, I hate Anaheim.
But we're making the effort for sure. But we're happy we went to Japan World Heroes last year.
But for sure, Japan World Heroes 2019.
Oh yeah, we'll be there.
Okay, cool.
No question.
We're gonna be there, and we're gonna kick down the door, and we're gonna be like, hey, what Bugmans you got for me?
Yeah. All right, let's move on to another one.
Sounds good.
Oh, excuse me. What Tokusatsu series American adaptations count would you like to redo if you thought they had potential but fell flat? I got one for both Tokusatsu and American. American adaptation, Operation Overdrive, I feel like was the most phoned in thing they could have done, because Bokanger's kind of on the same thing. Like, they have these really cool elements, this really cool story, and they have like just a shit ton of villains that I felt like it should have been better than it was. But Operation Overdrive was just like, let's just have like these kids do some fun adventure stuff, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Tokusatsu, definitely Q Ranger. I feel like that one.
Yeah, that one. It seemed like it was going to start off strong, and then it just stayed the same the whole way through, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
But not bad. I mean, if it's your first Sentai and you really enjoy it, then that's not a bad one to be your first Sentai, I think.
But you can't, after seeing other better Sentai, still claim that that one's better because it was your first. This is my Gokaiger argument coming back.
No, I completely agree with that, though, because I actually found out my favorite Sentai, if you don't count the unofficial ones, it's actually Jetman. I love that show to death. It drives me crazy, and I can watch it. It's trendy, yo.
Before Power Rangers, there was Jetman.
Oh,
Shout Factory.
Also, just because Guy Yuki's probably the most badass guy in that spandex helmeted suit ever.
Definitely. Katie, do you
as far as the question goes, if I had to redo something with Kamen Rider Fives, because I love Kamen Rider Fives. Probably my favorite of the early Heisei writers. I would honestly want to give that ending a hard redo. I know a lot of people probably agree with me. I know they tried to do some fixing in later movies, but it's such a weird cutoff that they did, and well, as frustrating as that whole show was with miscommunication and whatnot, I feel like that such a good show really deserved an equally awesome ending. So I would probably rework that just a little bit.
Just a little here and there.
Just a little bit. Just needs a little polishing.
Gotcha. And
a complete script rewrite. Anyway, yeah, that's my vote.
So if I had to redo something that was made, it's a tie for two of them. I'm gonna go Showa and Heisei here first. For Showa writer, I would completely probably redo the Z-Cross special and make the damn series, because that would have been so cool. And also, it breaks my heart to the guy that actually played Z-Cross. He was like older when Rider first came out, but he like fell in love with it like hardcore. So he was like that older guy that liked it. So like it'd be on TV and the kids would be like watching it. He'd be like watching it, like cheering too. But he's like 20 something.
So basically, the
late
main
teens.
guy of the new manga.
Yeah, essentially that. And then I identify with that just a little bit too hardcore for sure. But now for Heisei, if I had to redo something, probably Amazon season 2, because that was a dumpster fire inside of a train wreck, falling down of an avalanche of just pure molten magma into a vat full of devil laser sharks.
I thought you were gonna say Decade. Like, that was a pretty obvious one that needs.
Okay, look, that one needs work, but I'm also one of those people that's understanding of the show and the whole concept of alternate realities and things like that, and that show has so many issues, but it's also like, but if you think about it, if this is that character and that's the way that world works, there's another decade out there that actually had a good show, so it's okay.
That was my very first Kamen Rider series that I watched.
Same
and
here.
It confused the hell out of me. I loved it too, but it confused the hell out of me because I was watching it live, and I caught up with it when there was maybe like 5 or 10 episodes left to be aired. So I had like caught up on most of a decade, and I didn't know how it was going to end. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to go back and watch the one that happened before this, which was Kiva. And so I went to go watch Kiva. Kiva's a hot mess. But
that's another one that could use a good fixing up and treatment right there.
I was so confused because I'm like, why is Wataru, the main character, not a child? And why is he played by the guy who's like bringing Decade these like cryptic messages from the future in his show? I was like, what is going on? What is happening? And then
what's happening is we're shifting around everything so we can have Double come out so we can get the belt out in time for Christmas.
Yep.
Yeah.
But basically, like, I watched all a Decade all the way through, and it got to the end, the very last episode, and spoiler alert, when he basically like has to fight all the previous riders at once, and then like he gets shot in the face point blank, and that was the end of the show, and I was like, what? And then it's like, come back Christmas time to see how this ends, and I already had a pretty good grasp of like how long that was actually going to take for me to actually see this subbed. I was like, I'm never going to know how Decade ends until next year.
Joke's on all of us. Nobody knows how Decade ends.
Yeah, no.
It's been almost 10 years.
But
at least Tsukasa gets some nice revamping in the future. Because I think every time we've seen him in a movie thereafter, he's just been a delight.
Yeah.
Like the Gaim one Pacific that also had Shotaro in it from Double.
The Vice dude.
Yeah, that movie. He was fantastic in that movie.
Here,
fantastic always.
I got one more question for us. Off the top of your guys' head, did any other Toku actor do any crimes or did any crimes?
Oh, I got one that stuck out immediately.
Really? Go. What
yeah. So this is a classic one. So Taiyo Sentai Sun Vulcan. Bull Panther is a convicted pedophile.
Ooh.
Yeah, rough. That's rough. And then, if I remember correctly, there was a couple of suit actors that would use some of their skills to be robbers because they weren't making enough doing the shows and stuff like that. So
I did remember reading that. Like they would like
that in,
break into homes and like apartments because they could like parkour and shit up the side of a wall.
Yep.
Like
you know him, Katie?
No.
You got nothing? Okay.
No. Yeah, I nothing was coming to mind like when I first read this, but yeah, other than like a lot of the villains in the show, like the female villains in the show being AV stars. Yeah. I mean, not that that's a crime or anything, but
no.
It's more of a service.
The only thing that's a crime there is pixelation.
Yeah, I used to think like as a child like that was like a disease or something because I only saw. Never mind. Anyway,
it's a bugster, Mom. We need to help her.
All right, I'm gonna open this up one last time to chat. Who's that Shukuman? I'm actually gonna scroll up to see if anybody got it. This is a pretty hard one. I'm seeing a lot of Hayam Saban and a bald cap. Aka Red. Ooh, yeah, that could be Aka Red. Aka Ranger. I'm seeing a lot of Aka Ranger. Well, I didn't see anybody get it. It was Alata from Gossager.
What?
That was a tricky one.
You know, I mean, should have saw that coming.
Actually, used the silhouette because the neck would have given it away.
Exactly. The like 20-foot neck. God. Anyway, thank you guys for playing. We'll see if you can guys get. No one's ever gotten my second ones. So I'm gonna keep these going. Something new, something weird. So close.
Next time.
Anyway, do you guys have any last thoughts on any of the articles that we went over today?
No, I think we've covered a lot of good ground though.
I think so too. I think we've had a pretty good chat and went all over the place, but it's always a good time talking. So.
Yeah, I think that's something that we might try to move towards in the future is having maybe less pieces and just kind of more like the really prominent ones that kind of stir a conversation. But thankfully, the Q&A and you lovely people at home giving us stuff to talk about is always beneficial to the show, and I like doing it. I don't know if you guys like doing it, but I like doing it. So
I do. I think it's fun.
It's been enjoyable.
Well, this is your first podcast, isn't it, Katie?
Yeah.
Is it
There
really?
we go.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome. Well, hey, welcome to the podcast live world.
Thanks. I'm finally cool enough. Feels good.
Yeah. I feel like there's one other question that I saw that I just was like, I need to ask you guys, but I can't find it now because there's a bunch.
Was it a fan submitted question or something you were just trying to ask us?
Yeah, it was a fan submitted question.
Oh, okay.
That's so hard because this thing updates all the time with like
It's
new
quick.
upvotes and whatnot. Yeah, that's fine. Anyway, thank you guys.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank
Sorry
you
about
guys
the dead air for like all 5 seconds there. Sorry.
Oh no! That was like my brain fart.
I kind of did too. I was like, should I say something or should I?
Nah, it's good. I want to thank everybody, of course, this week for hanging out with us. Everybody that's watching at home after the fact, we'd love to see you come out to one of these. They're live every Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so that's like 3 p.m. Central Time and like 4 p.m. Eastern
Eastern
Time.
Standard. Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
You got it. Math is hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember all the other stuff I have to plug, other than obviously the tokusatsunetwork.com. If you want to read up more on these articles and more that we maybe didn't use in this episode, you can head that over to the tokusatsunetwork.com and read all of those. There's like one other thing that I'm always forgetting to ask or answer. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for coming on, and we'd love to have you guys again in the future.
Most
Absolutely. We'd love to come back on.
Awesome. Well, hey guys, thank you for hanging out, and we will see you on the next week. We'll see you then.
Shuukan!
Awesome.